Room 404. Liam had always been fascinated by abandoned places. As a travel blogger, he sought out eerie hotels, long-forgotten towns, and haunted locations. So when he heard about the mysterious Crestwood Grand Hotel, he knew he had to go. Located in a small town on the edge of nowhere, the hotel had been built in the early 1900s and once hosted wealthy guests. But after a series of bizarre disappearances, it closed down in the 1980s. Recently, a new owner had attempted to restore it, turning it into a boutique hotel while keeping its haunted reputation alive for thrill-seekers like Liam. As he stepped into the grand lobby, the air smelled of old wood and dust, mixed with the artificial scent of lavender air fresheners. The receptionist, a pale woman with hollow eyes, smiled stiffly. "Welcome to Crestwood Grand," she said. "You must be Mr. Carter." Liam nodded. "That's me. I booked room 405. The woman hesitated, typing something on her old computer. A strange expression flickered across her face. "I'm sorry, but there's been a mistake. Room 405 is under maintenance. You'll have to take room 403 instead." Liam frowned. "What about room 404? The woman's smile faltered. "There is no room 404. He raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" She shook her head. "There's simply no such room. It's best not to ask about it." Her tone sent a shiver down Liam's spine, but he didn't push. He grabbed his key and headed to the elevator, the old brass doors creaking as they closed behind him. The ride up was smooth, but when the elevator passed the third floor, a strange sensation washed over him, like static electricity buzzing in his veins. The lights flickered for a second, and the elevator briefly slowed before continuing. Stepping into the dimly lit hallway, Liam noted how eerily quiet it was. The old carpet muffled his footsteps as he walked toward room 403. As he reached his door, he couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching him. Out of curiosity, he scanned the hallway for a room 404. Nothing. The room numbers jumped from 403 to 405. But where 404 should have been, there was only a blank section of wall. No door, no plaque, just empty space. His journalist instincts kicked in. He knocked softly on the wall. It sounded hollow. Something was there. A chill ran down his spine. He quickly entered his room, deciding to investigate later. 2:47 a.m. The whispering begins. Liam woke up to a whisper. At first he thought it was the wind, but as he fully regained consciousness, he realized the whispers were inside the room. He held his breath. The words were indistinct, like a distant conversation between multiple people. Slowly, he turned his head toward the source. The closet door was slightly ajar. His heart pounded. He was sure he had closed it before going to bed. Sliding out of bed as quietly as possible, he approached the closet. His fingers trembled as he reached for the handle. With one swift motion, he yanked it open. Empty. But the whispering didn't stop. It was coming from the hallway now. Gathering his courage, Liam stepped outside. The hallway was dimly lit, stretching out in both directions. It looked normal, except for one thing. The blank wall where room 404 should have been was now a door that hadn't been there before. His breath hitched. It was an old wooden door, cracked and peeling, with a tarnished brass doorknob. Unlike the other rooms, it had no plaque, no number. The whispers grew louder, as if beckoning him. Against every instinct screaming at him to run, Liam reached for the doorknob. It was ice cold. He turned it. The door opened. Inside, room 404. The air inside was suffocating. It smelled of mildew and something rotten. The room was dimly lit by a flickering ceiling light. The wallpaper was peeling, and deep claw marks ran along the wooden floor. At the center of the room was a chair facing the wall, and someone was sitting in it. A woman. Her head tilted downward, long black hair covering her face. Her hands rested in her lap, fingers twitching. Liam's blood turned to ice. "Hello?" he whispered. The woman's head twitched, but she didn't look up. He took a cautious step forward. The whispers around him turned into low laughter. The air grew colder. The woman's head twitched again. Liam stepped back. He had made a mistake. A terrible mistake. Suddenly, the woman's head snapped upward. Her face was wrong, her skin was grey, her mouth stretched into a grotesque grin that split her cheeks wide open. Her eyes, completely black, voids of endless darkness, locked onto him. The laughter turned into screaming. Liam stumbled backward, the room distorting around him. The walls pulsated like they were alive. Shadows stretched toward him, reaching with clawed hands. He turned and ran, but the door was gone. No escape.